Hi my friends, and welcome to our next little video in this little series, this journey that we're on together, that is all about realizing how we are creating our lives, and that if we wish, we can create a new life which is very different from our old life, and that by changing our life we are automatically changing the world. So we have dived into really the main experience that we all go through. Some may be more intense than others. That is the actual awakening process, where we, through difficulties in our lives, we finally let go. We let go of the idea that we can control life externally and create happiness for ourselves and make everything work well. We let that go, which is the part of us that we call the ego self, and we simply surrender. We just say, okay, that's it. I've had it. I can't do this anymore. And that's when the spirit really steps forth, and we get to experience, oh my goodness, all this while, through this long life I've been through, however long it's been, all these difficulties I've been through, where I have been so desperate to find this haven, this holy place or peaceful place, all along it's been in me. I just didn't realize. And now I realize it. And we can talk about this in many ways and see it in many ways, and one way of putting it is that because it's good to just to try to keep it as simple as possible, but still life is very complex, so I try to keep this as down to earth as possible, but sometimes things get a little bit technical and maybe difficult to really comprehend. But we can see this as we are going through life, and it is a horse and cart, and we have the, I can't remember the name in English, kusk it's called in Danish, the man who has the reins. And until now, till the awakening, it is our ego consciousness that has been holding the reins of the horses and controlling where we were going. And now, with this shift, it is our wish that he or she no longer has the reins, because it was just causing so much suffering, and it was not the way to go. So who we want to be holding the reins is our spirit. And so we can say, this is one way of putting it, that we have our human self, or our inner authority, and our inner authority is making the decision in our life. Do I want this one to control and to be in control, to be the director of my life? Do I want this one or the other? And after the awakening, we realize that the only truly joyful and beautiful way to live our lives is to let the spirit control. And this in itself creates a major shift in our life, because the spirit's way of being is really more or less completely opposite to the ego's way of being. So we go through when this human part of us decides, or our inner authority, you can call it our grown-up self, our adult self, decides that this is what I want. I want to live my life where it is my spirit who is who is controlling the way I go, my path forward. The being that we are goes through a big change, and the life that we get to lead also goes through a big change. And this is really where many of us are right now. Some have been there for a long time and have really created their new lives and have really settled in, and others have just really broken free from the old way of being. So we're all different places on our path, but really once we have realized this and we have awoken, we get to speak the same language. And although we are in different places on our way, we can uplift each other anyway. So it's not always the ones who have been there longest who can uplift the others. So it's in a way we join the spiritual community, people who have chosen this, and this community will grow and grow and grow all over the world, because the world is going to be full of people who are living their lives directed by their spirit. So it's just going to spread all over the world. So allowing our spirit to take over can feel really strange, because the ego way of controlling our life was that it believed that if we just get this in order and this in order and this in order, all these outer things, then I will be happy, then everything will go well, and that's all I have to do. And if this thing starts to break down, I just have to build it up again and make it work again, just like a car. So if that's not going well, just fix it, and so we can keep going the same way. The ego is very, as I've said before, speaks with a very loud voice, is very controlling in the outer world, and of course very fear-driven, and really, really desperate to make everything out there work well. And the spirit is not interested in that at all, because the spirit knows. Our spirit is our divine wisdom, and it knows that that is not the way to live life, and where life becomes really harmonious and joyful. So the spirit is not rigid in that way, and is not controlling in that way. The spirit, you can see it in many ways, but the spirit, which is our divine selves, is like a river flowing. It flows, and it flows past the rocks and the trees, and flows with the fish and the animals in the water. It flows with all of life. So it is in harmony with all of life. And it is it wishes to live in even more harmony with all of life. And the spirit self does not set a goal so clearly and is goal oriented. The spirit is okay, let's try to put this in a simple way. Our spirit is our inner God self. It is that place where all the wisdom, all the peace, all the love, all the joy flows out of. And when we start to live our lives with this spirit holding the reins, what we experience is that we have to really, it's very much a very strong experience of reminding ourselves to keep letting go. Just keep letting go. Every time the ego self comes in and the controlling self comes in, we sort of just say, okay, I can hear you, but I don't want that, so I just let go and wait and see what is it that my spirit wants. So the human self that wishes the spirit to take over will step back a real lot and will allow the spirit to bring up messages, because the messages are coming, the guidance is coming from within to all of us. And so we can say the spirit is asking us to be very quiet. And so this is one thing, as I've shared here, the first step is to relax. That's why it's so important to relax, because then you can feel your spirit. Your spirit wants you to relax so that it can step forth. Because as long as we are tense and stressed and nervous and fearful, we just sort of automatically close off. The spirit cannot step forth then. So it's like a barrier or a big wall we set up. So when we take that back, we sort of surrender and just let go, the spirit will automatically step forth. And the first thing that's so beautiful and so wonderful, as I've mentioned, is that we are filled with this well-being. So our spirit talks to us through our feelings. So it tells us, okay, when you let go, I fill you with my love. I fill you with well-being. I let you feel in your body that you've made the right decision. This is the good way. This is a good way to go. Do this more. So this is the spirit guiding us. And this is a process of trial and error, of course, in the beginning. We try this, we try that, and we're still not feeling well. Finally, we let go, and the spirit steps forth and says, that's what you needed to do, just let go. And I'm here, and I'm full of love, and I am you. And that's the difficult thing, because we have been so identified with our ego self that we're realizing, as I've mentioned many times, that we're realizing that that was really not me. It was really very made up. So the spirit is telling us, this is you. This is you. You are this being who is full of peace and full of love and full of wisdom. This is you. This well-being that you're feeling right now is you. So for the first maybe months, maybe even years, the practice for us is to just really feel that and realize that. Keep coming back every time the ego comes in and says, oh no, that's not you, get on with your life, do something productive, be a part of society, let people see that you have abilities, prove to yourself and others that you can do something. That voice that comes in, which is not of the spirit, it will keep coming, as mentioned, and every time we just tell it to leave us or to just let it go, we can sense the spirit coming forth more. And the spirit has no need to prove to anyone, not to us or to others, that it is worthy or valuable, because it knows it is. It has no need for others' recognition. So it is not the prideful, showing off person that we sometimes have been, who was desperate for other people's approval. The spirit doesn't have any of that because it is approved. it is already aware of its infinite potential and value, and there's no lack of value there. So this enormous change for us of feeling that we are really so incredibly different to what we once were, to just make sure we create a life for ourselves where we just allow the feeling to be there for a while. That is really what we need to do for the first while. And the world around us will trigger us and will try to pull us back. And also people we live with who have not reached that place can sense, can think that we seem very strange. But this is what I've experienced in my own life, that what made the real big change for me was to stand very, very steadfast, you can see it as a lighthouse. I am this lighthouse, and I'm going to stay firm and loving as who I am. And I can be in relationships, I can be with people, but if anybody's trying to sort of pull me into their mess, which many people are in, they're in complete mess, and if only they can pull someone into their mess so that we can all be messy together, they feel more safe. And so they will try, where there's people who have awakened, are holding a lot of light, and they want to pull that light into them because they can't find their own light. And this has come in little steps for me, but the last major step was really to realize for myself that it has to stop. All this leeching out, people leeching this, or sort of clinging to you and wanting you to be in a certain way, it just has to stop. And so I became very very strong within myself, and it really worked. So when you feel this which can feel very strange, I'm in my spirit, everything's I was is gone, I feel like this flowing river that's flowing around. I feel like maybe I'm in more or less a dream state. I don't know really who I am. Seen in a social context, I actually have lost myself. That situation we can be in. But when this enormous power comes from within, and this voice of our spirit is saying, this is you, and you are endlessly beautiful and powerful, and this might feel strange, but it is you. When we really get to feel how delicious and how empowering this is, we don't want to leave it for 1 second. And so our human self has to help us, or has to take the decision that it's okay, that we are now embodying our spirit, and everything feels strange, and we feel funny. And this is where the playfulness comes in, and also that's why this is so incredibly, this is the most incredible thing we can experience, because we get to experience in the spirit that there is the playful child, and that there is the wise elder. It's all in there. So when we really surrender and we allow ourselves to be in this state, we will get to feel this playfulness and this joy, this childish joy. We just feel like dancing around in the house, or dancing around in the garden and singing, just being like a child again. And at the same time we feel the elder in us saying, well done you, just be you, just unfold yourself as you feel natural in this moment. And people might laugh, people might shout, People might get very nervous because you're so strange, but it is so refreshing to finally feel how this is where the power lies. And this state, living our lives from this state of consciousness, can only take us into something more beautiful. So we are safe. So yeah, there comes a time in the beginning where everything feels strange. We feel strange, we feel foreign to ourselves, but this video is really to just encourage you to allow this strange feeling to be there. Keep relaxing, keep really, you can actually thank yourself that you've come so far, and you are stepping into the unknown. So for the human mind, it is the unknown, but your spirit is known. So deep within yourself, you know that you are your spirit. It's just because we have become these superficial beings that no longer know our spirit. But this is what's happening now. We get to embody our spirit, and we get to say, oh, that's right, this is who I am. So after the strangeness has been there and everything feels so unknown, and we maybe have to stand very strong towards the people around us, the society around us, protect ourselves to be in this strange state, we will get to recognize, okay, that's right, this is who I am. Now I recognize it. I am really God in human form. I just forgot. That's all. I've just been asleep, and now I'm waking up. So, and then of course life will unfold in different ways than before, and it will all be, everything you do will be generated from this your spiritual self. So this is the first steps we take when we have awakened, and it can look very different for everyone. So yeah, but it's yeah, it is so beautiful and fantastic what we go through, and just feeling the allowing, the surrendering, and sensing how our spirit is filling us with a well-being, which in our ego state where we were before, we have really, really longed for, to feel really good about being me. Just feeling how wonderful it feels to just be me. Just feel it. The feeling of being me is so beautiful. We have longed for that, and so allowing ourselves time to just really bathe in that feeling of joy and well-being is a really good idea. And trust that after this time of this dreamlike state, things will start to take shape. Our lives we will be inspired that, okay, this is the next step for me, this is what I have to do, and we will love doing it. And we might make money doing it, so this will be our next new job. Maybe, maybe not. But we will be empowered from this place, and we will be taken into new territory. So it just all becomes better and better and better. So this was my next video, which maybe was a little bit messy, but this was what my spirit wanted to share with you today. And I send you all my love where you are in your process. It is sometimes really hard, sometimes just really easy. So it's good. I love to be here and be able to lend a hand to whoever can use it. So take care, my friend, and I'll see you in the next video. And if you want to come and join our little workshop on Sunday, you're very welcome. Just write me an email. See you, my friend.